Her eyes snapped open. The first thing she felt was a softness. It was everywhere. Under her back, beneath her head, wrapped all around her. This wasn't her small, lumpy mattress back in her tiny apartment. This was the cloud. The air smelled different, too. It smelled like lemons and something dark and expensive, like a forest after the rain. Maya's heart stopped. She wasn't in her uniform. She was under covers. A bright light was streaming in from a window, so big it looked like the wall was missing, showing the entire city waking up below. This wasn't her room. This wasn't even the staff room. This was the penthouse. She shot up, her cleaner's tunic wrinkled, her hair a mess. The sheets, thick and white, pulled around her waist. She was in his bed, the bed of Mr. Julian Thorne, the billionaire ghost no one had ever seen. Panic, cold and sharp, shot through her. She was supposed to be cleaning the windows, not sleeping in his bed. How did this happen? How long was she asleep? Beautiful view, isn't it? The voice wasn't loud, but it filled the giant room. It was deep, calm, and freezing cold. Maya spun around. He was standing by the window, a dark shape against the bright morning light. He was holding a coffee mug, watching her. He wasn't old and gray like she'd imagined. He was young with dark hair, and he was wearing a perfect black suit. He looked like a beautiful, dangerous statue. He didn't look angry. He just looked curious, like he'd found a mouse sleeping in his teacup. I'm so sorry, sir, Maya stammered, scrambling to get out of the bed. Her feet hit the soft carpet. She felt her face burn with shame. I just sat down for a second. I was so tired. I didn't mean to. Please. He took a slow sip of his coffee. He didn't move. Who are you? Maya. Maya Rodriguez. I'm housekeeping, sir. I was sent up to clean the glass. I finished, and I'm sorry. Please, don't call my manager. I'll go right now. She was backing away, her hands shaking, trying to fix her hair, try to look like a person and not a mistake. She knew the rule. If you get fired from the Aura Grand, you're blacklisted. No other hotel in the city will hire you. She thought of her little brother, Leo, and his medicine. Her throat closed up. The man, Julian Thorne, just watched her. His eyes were the color of gray storm. He finally set his mug down and took a step toward her. Maya flinched. What was he going to do? What would you have done if you were Maya? Would you have tried to run? Would you have broken down crying? It's a terrifying moment. Let me know in the comments below. And also, tell me where you're watching from today. But to understand how Maya, the kindest, most careful cleaner at the Aura Grand Hotel, ended up in that bed, we have to rewind. We have to go back to the beginning of the worst day of her life. It all started, as it always did, at 4:30 a.m. The tiny alarm clock on her cracked nightstand buzzed. Maya didn't hit snooze. She couldn't. She rolled out of her creaky bed and went straight to the other room, a small space separated by a hanging curtain. Her little brother, Leo, was asleep. He was 9 years old and had a cough that never seemed to go away. His breathing was heavy. Maya put her hand on his forehead. Warm, too warm. She sighed, her heart aching. She went to the little kitchen counter and looked at his medicine bottle. It was empty. The sticker on it showed a price that made her stomach clench. $150. She got paid tomorrow, but Leo needed it today. It's okay, Leo, she whispered to her sleeping brother, pulling his thin blanket up. I'll fix it. I'll ask for an advance. Mr. Harrison will understand. I'll fix it. Maya Rodriguez was 23 years old, but she felt much older. She was the kind of person you pass on the street and never see. She was quiet, with kind, tired eyes and long brown hair she always kept in a tight, neat bun. She believed in working hard and being nice, even when the world wasn't nice back. She believed that if you were a good person, good things would eventually happen. She worked at the Aura Grand, the most expensive, most famous hotel in New York City. It was a palace of glass and gold, and she was one of the invisible people who kept it shining. Her job was her everything. It paid for their tiny apartment and for Leo's medicine. Losing it wasn't an option. She put on her crisp beige uniform, ate a piece of dry toast, and left a note for Leo. By 5:30 a.m., she was on the crowded city bus, her head leaning against the cold window, already exhausted. She arrived at the hotel and went straight to the basement, where the staff changed. Her best friend, Sarah, was already there, tying her own apron. Sarah was the opposite of Maya. She was loud, funny, and always had bright red lipstick on. She hated their jobs, but she loved the gossip. "You look like a ghost, Maya," Sarah said, snapping her gum. "Leo keep you up again?" "His fever is back, and he's out his medicine. I have to ask Mr. Harrison for an advance on my paycheck," Maya said, her voice low and worried. Sarah's face dropped its smile. "An advance? From Harrison? Good luck. That man wouldn't give you a breath of air if you were drowning. He's in a terrible mood today, by the way. Apparently he is coming." Maya's hands froze on her locker. "He? You mean Mr. Thorne?" "The one and only," Sarah whispered, looking around. "The big boss. The phantom of the penthouse. He's supposed to be arriving tomorrow. Everyone is losing their minds. They're making us triple clean the executive floors. Mr. Julian Thorne. He owned the hotel and dozens of other things, but no one ever saw him. He lived in the penthouse, which was basically a secret castle in the sky. The staff had stories about him. Some said he was horribly scarred from a fire. Others said he was a cold-hearted businessman who fired people just for looking at him wrong. Maya didn't believe it. She felt a little sorry for him. All that money, all that power, and he was always alone. Just then, the door to the locker room burst open. Mr. Harrison, the hotel manager, stood there. He was a short, sharp man with a thin mustache and eyes that missed nothing. "Line up, now," he barked. The room went silent. "Today is the most important day of the year. Mr. Thorne is arriving tomorrow. I want this hotel to look like it was born this morning. I want it to shine. No mistakes. No lateness. No excuses. Rodriguez, you're on the 40th floor. Johnson, 41st. Sarah, you're on lobby duty. Move." Maya tried to catch him. "Mr. Harrison, sir, could I please have a word?" He turned, annoyed. "What is it, Rodriguez? I don't have time for chit-chat." "It's my brother, sir. He's sick. His medicine it's very expensive. I was wondering if it would be possible to get a small advance on my pay, just until tomorrow." Mr. Harrison actually laughed. It was a cold, barking sound. "An advance? You want an advance? Does this look like a bank, Rodriguez? You are here to work, not to ask for handouts. Your personal problems are your problems. If you can't handle the job, I can find 50 people by noon who can. Now get to your floor. Don't ask me again." Maya's face burned. She felt tears prick her eyes, but she blinked them back. She couldn't cry. "Not here." "Yes, sir." "Sorry, sir." The rest of the day was a blur of misery. Maya worked harder than she ever had before. She scrubbed floors, vacuumed thick carpets, and polished marble until her arms ached. She did all with a fake, bright smile for the rich guests who walked past her without even seeing her. Every time her phone buzzed, her heart jumped. It was Leo. "Leo, 1 p.m. feeling dizzy, Maya. My chest hurts." "Leo, 3 p.m. I'm coughing a lot. It's hard to breathe." Maya felt a rising tide of panic. She texted him back. "I'm trying, Leo. I'm working on it. Just rest. I'll be home soon." She tried to ask Sarah to borrow money, but Sarah just sighed. "Maya, I'm broke. My paycheck was gone 3 days after I got it. I'm sorry." By 6 p.m., Maya's shift was over. She was soaked in sweat. Her feet were burning, and her heart felt like a cold stone in her chest. She had failed. She didn't get the money. She was walking toward the exit, her mind racing, trying to think of what to sell, who to call, when Mr. Harrison's voice echoed down the hall. "Rodriguez, where do you think you're going?" Maya turned. "Home, sir. My shift is over." "Not anymore. The girl on the evening shift called in sick. You're staying. You're doing a double." "Sir, I can't." Maya pleaded, the words tumbling out. "My brother is sick. I have to get home. I have to get him his medicine." Please. Mr. Harrison got right in her face. I will say this one more time. Your problems are not my problems. You will stay, you will work, or you will not have a job to come back to tomorrow. Do you understand me? Maya looked down at the floor. The fight went out of her. She couldn't lose this job. If she lost this job, Leo would get worse. She felt trapped. Yes, sir. I understand. The next 5 hours were torture. The hotel was busy, and Maya was running on empty. Her body felt heavy. Her eyes stung. She cleaned room after room, her mind just repeating, I'm sorry, Leo. I'm so sorry. Finally, at 11:30 p.m., the hotel was quiet. She was the last one on her floor. She was just putting her card away when Mr. Harrison's voice came over her walkie-talkie, making her jump. Rodriguez. Report to the main elevator. Now. Maya's heart sank. What now? She dragged her feet to the elevator. Mr. Harrison was standing there, his face pale and sweaty. We have a situation, he said in a low, panicked whisper. The R installers were in the penthouse. They just left, and they left a fingerprint. A giant, greasy fingerprint on the inside of the main bedroom window. Maya just stared at him, confused. Mr. Thorne is arriving tomorrow morning, Harrison hissed. If he sees that, I'm fired. You are the only one working who I trust not to break anything. You are the most careful. You are going up. You will take this special cloth and this cleaner. You will clean the fingerprint. You will not touch anything. You will not look at anything. You will not breathe on anything. You will get in, clean the glass, and get out. Do you understand? Maya was so tired she could barely nod. The penthouse? But we're not allowed. Do you want to get paid or not? He snapped, shoving a special gold key card into her hand. This is a private elevator key. It goes straight there. Now go. And Rodriguez? If I find out you even looked sideways at his things, you're finished. Maya took the key. Her hand was shaking. She walked to the private elevator, a gold box hidden behind a painting. She swiped the card. The doors opened. She stepped inside. The doors closed, and the elevator moved up fast and silent. It was so quiet. She was going to the top. She was going to the place no one ever saw. Her head was fuzzy with exhaustion. The doors opened. Maya stepped out and forgot to breathe. The room was bigger than her entire apartment building. One wall was just stars. The whole city was spread out below her like a carpet of diamonds. The furniture was dark and simple, but she knew it cost more than she would make in her whole life. The air was cool and smelled like that expensive rainy forest smell. It was empty. It was so empty, it felt like a museum, not a home. She found the bedroom. It was even bigger. And there on the massive window was a smudge, a perfect, oily fingerprint. Okay, Maya, just clean the glass. Just clean the glass and go home to Leo, she whispered to herself. She walked over and carefully, meticulously, began to polish the glass. She scrubbed and wiped until the fingerprint was gone, until the glass was so clean it looked like it wasn't there. She did it. She backed away, putting her cloth in her apron. She felt a wave of dizziness. The exhaustion of working almost 18 hours straight hit her like a wall. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. A text from Leo. Leo, 11:45 p.m. I'm scared, Maya. I can't stop coughing. A sob caught in Maya's throat. She failed him. She was here, in this palace of sky, and her brother was sick and scared in their tiny room. She sank down onto her knees, her body shaking. She just needed to rest for 1 second. Just 1 second to catch her breath. She looked over at the bed. It was huge, covered in a thick white comforter. It looked like a cloud. It looked so soft. She didn't mean to. It wasn't a real thought. She just thought, I need to rest my feet, just for 1 second. She stood up on wobbly legs. She walked over to the bed. She didn't get in it. She just sat on the very, very edge. The mattress sank down around her. It was softer than anything she had ever felt. It was like being held. She just closed her eyes. For 1 second. Just 1 single second. Her head dipped. Her body leaned back. And in the silent, empty penthouse of the most powerful man in the city, Maya Rodriguez fell fast asleep. She didn't hear the private elevator doors open 2 hours later. She didn't hear the footsteps on the carpet. She didn't hear the man walk into his own bedroom and stop, staring at the impossible sight of a girl in a cleaner's uniform, fast asleep on his pillow. She only woke up when the sun was high in the sky, to the feel of the soft sheets and the sound of his cold, calm voice. We are now back to where the story started. Maya was standing there, shaking, her apology dying on her lips as she stared at the billionaire, Julian Thorne. I'm so sorry, sir, she whispered, tears finally breaking free and rolling down her cheeks. Please, I'll do anything. My brother is sick. I need this job. I just fell asleep. It was a mistake. Julian Thorne looked at her. His gray eyes were impossible to read. He didn't look angry. He didn't look kind. He just looked. He picked up the black phone on his nightstand. Maya's blood ran cold. Mr. Harrison. Julian's voice was smooth as steel. Get up to the penthouse. Now. And bring security. No. Maya cried, taking a step forward. Please, please don't. He hung up the phone and looked at her. His face was a perfect, handsome mask. You're fired. Please, she sobbed, all her pride gone. You don't understand. My brother, he needs medicine. I just needed... But before she could finish, the other door in the bedroom, the one leading to the giant marble bathroom, clicked open. Maya stopped, her breath catching. A woman walked out, yawning and stretching. She was wearing a beautiful black silk robe that Maya knew belonged to the hotel. The woman rubbed her eyes, her red lipstick from the night before slightly smudged. She stopped dead when she saw Maya standing by the bed, crying, and Julian Thorne standing by the window, his face like stone. Maya's whole world tilted. She knew that woman. She knew that bright red lipstick. It was Sarah, her best friend. Sarah's eyes went wide. She looked at Maya, then at Julian, and a strange, cold smile spread across her face. Julian, darling, Sarah said, her voice silky and unfamiliar. She walked over and looped her arm through the billionaire's. What is she doing in our bed? The world stopped. The ticking of the giant clock on the wall was the only sound in the huge room. It sounded like a bomb. Maya stared, her mind unable to connect the two images. There was Sarah, her friend, the one who complained about her tips and shared stale donuts with her in the basement. And then there was this Sarah, wrapped in silk, her arm linked with a billionaire's, her face a mask of cold triumph. The smell of lemons and expensive forest was suddenly suffocating. Sarah? Maya's voice was a dry whisper. What were you doing? Sarah laughed. It wasn't her usual loud, happy laugh. It was a short, sharp, ugly sound. What am I doing? I'm living, Maya. Something you're too stupid to know how to do. Did you really think I was just a cleaner? Like you? I don't understand, Maya stammered, looking from Sarah's smug face to Julian Thorne's perfectly still one. He was just watching, his gray eyes unblinking, like a hawk deciding which mouths to eat first. Of course you don't, Sarah said, stepping forward. She was a different person. Her posture was straight, her eyes were sharp. I've been with Julian for 6 months. I wasn't a cleaner, you idiot. I was his eyes and ears. He wanted to know what the real staff thought, who was lazy, who was a thief, and who was just pathetic. She looked Maya up and down, and her lip curled. Maya's mind reeled. 6 months. All those conversations. All the times Maya cried on her shoulder about Leo. All the times Sarah said she was broke, just like her. It was all a lie. You knew about Leo, Maya whispered, the betrayal hitting her harder than the fear. You knew he was sick. Oh, boo-hoo, your sick brother, Sarah mocked. Everyone has a sad story, Maya. The difference is, I'm not letting my story be sad. I make things happen. You set me up, Maya said, the pieces clicking into place with a sickening snap. This morning, you knew Mr. Harrison was in a bad mood. You knew Mr. Thorne was coming. And the fingerprint, the job, cleaning the penthouse. You're always so good, Maya, Sarah sneered. So careful, so trustworthy. Harrison knew it. It was easy. All I had to do was tell Julian you've been acting weird, that I thought you were obsessed with him, that you were taking things. I didn't. I would never. Maya cried, turning to Julian Thorne. Sir, please, she's lying. I was working for 18 hours. Mr. Harrison made me stay. I was just so tired. I sat down. I just sat down for a second. I never touched anything. Right on cue, the private elevator doors opened. Mr. Harrison ran in, his face red, followed by two huge security guards in black suits. Mr. Thorne, sir, I am so sorry. I don't know how this happened. Harrison panted, not even looking at Maya. Don't you, Mr. Harrison? Julian Thorne spoke for the first time. His voice was still quiet, but it cut through the room. You let a cleaner into my private rooms. You worked her, what was it? He glanced at Maya. 18 hours straight? Doesn't that sound like a liability? Mr. Harrison turned white. Sir, it was a special circumstance. Julian, darling, don't be mad at Mr. Harrison, Sarah cooed, rubbing Julian's arm. It was her. She's a problem. I told you. She's unstable. Honestly, you should check her locker. I bet she stole something. No! Maya shrieked, the accusation feeling like a physical slap. That's enough, Julian said. He looked at the security guards. Take her, get her out of my hotel, and have her locker searched. If anything is missing, a cufflink, a watch, anything, I want her arrested. Yes, sir, the guard said, moving toward Maya. Please, Maya begged, tears streaming down her face. She wasn't just begging for her job now. She was begging for her life. An arrest? Please, I have to get to my brother. He's sick. He's all alone. Sarah, please tell them it's a lie. We're friends. Sarah just stared at her, her eyes as cold as a winter lake. I have never seen this woman before in my life. That was it. That was the blow that broke Maya. The security guards grabbed her arms. She didn't fight. She was too broken. All the exhaustion, all the fear, all the betrayal washed over her. She felt numb. Sir, what about Mr. Harrison? One guard asked. Julian Thorne turned his back on Maya, walking to the window to look at the city. He's fired, too. Get them both out of my sight. Sir, please. Harrison started to blubber, but the guards were already moving. They pulled Maya, who was stumbling, into the elevator. The last thing she saw before the gold doors closed was Sarah, standing next to the billionaire, a triumphant smile on her face as she rested her head on his shoulder. They looked like a king and queen, and Maya was just nothing. The elevator ride down was silent. Maya was crying, but it was a quiet, hopeless kind of crying. Mr. Harrison was next to her, hyperventilating, muttering, My life is over. My whole life is over. When the doors opened in the basement, it was a nightmare. The morning shift was clocking in. Dozens of her co-workers, the people she smiled at every day, were there. They all stopped and stared as the two biggest security guards marched a crying Maya and a sweating Mr. Harrison through the hall. What did she do? Someone whispered. I heard she was in his bed. Stole something, they said. I knew she was weird. Too quiet. Maya kept her head down, her face burning with shame so deep it felt like it was scorching her from the inside out. They took her to her locker. They opened it and dumped her bag out on the floor. Her keys, her empty wallet, a half-eaten granola bar, and her cracked phone. She's clean, the guard said, sounding disappointed. They shoved her bag back at her. Get your uniform off. Now. They turned their backs to give her a moment of privacy. Shaking, Maya changed out of the beige tunic that had been her lifeline. She put on her old jeans and t-shirt. She felt like she was shedding her skin. She was no longer Maya, the hard-working cleaner. She was just Maya, a fired, blacklisted, betrayed woman. Get out, the head of security said, pointing to the exit. You are now trespassing. If you ever set foot on Aura Grand property again, you will be arrested. Maya walked. She walked through the polished marble lobby she had mopped 1,000 times. The morning sunlight was streaming in, making the gold fixtures glitter. It was all so beautiful, and it had all just destroyed her. She pushed through the heavy glass doors and stepped out onto the busy New York sidewalk. The city was loud. Cars were honking. People were rushing to work. And Maya Rodriguez just stood there, invisible again. But this time, she had truly lost everything. Her first thought, sharp and clear to the fog of betrayal, was Leo. She checked her phone. The screen was cracked, but she could see the messages. Leo, 7 a.m. Maya, where are you? I feel dizzy. Leo, 7:30 a.m. My chest hurts. It's hard to breathe. Please come home. Leo, 8 a.m. Maya, I'm scared. A new kind of panic, colder and more powerful than the fear Julian Thorne, gripped her. She didn't have money for the bus. She ran. She ran the 20 blocks to her apartment, her lungs burning, her mind chanting a single prayer. Let it be okay. Let it be okay. Please let him be okay. She burst into her rundown apartment building, ignoring the yellowed walls and the smell of old garbage. She was about to run up the stairs when a large man blocked her path. It was Mr. Saletti, her landlord. He was a big man with a stained T-shirt and a sour expression. Leaving so early, Maya? He asked, his arms crossed. Or is it coming home so late? Mr. Saletti, please, I can't talk right now. My brother is sick. Yeah, about that, he said, pulling a piece of paper from his back pocket. I heard a little rumor. My cousin works security over at the Aura Grand. Said you got fired this morning. Big scene, huh? Stealing from the boss. Maya's face went pale. It wasn't like that. It was a mistake. I didn't steal anything. I don't care, he said, handing her the paper. It was an eviction notice. Rent was due yesterday. I was going to let it slide till tomorrow, till you got paid. But now, you're a bad risk. I want the money by tomorrow, or you and the kid are out on the street. 24 hours. 24 hours? I can't, she pleaded. I'll get the money. I'll find another job. 24 hours, Maya. Or I change the locks. He shoved past her and walked out the front door. Maya stood there, the eviction notice shaking in her hand. Fired, betrayed, and now homeless. She ran up the 4 flights of stairs, her legs feeling like lead. She threw open her apartment door. Leo, I'm here. The apartment was quiet. He was on a small, lumpy couch, covered in their only blanket. His face was pale and slick with sweat. His breathing was fast and shallow. Maya, he whispered, his eyes fluttering open. He tried to sit up but fell back, dissolving into a fit of harsh, barking coughs. I'm here, baby, Maya said, rushing to him, her heart breaking. She felt his forehead. He was burning up. It's okay. I'm going to get your medicine. I'm going to fix it. She was lying. She had $4.50 in her bag. I'm so cold, Maya, he whispered, his teeth chattering. I know. She had to do something. She scanned the tiny apartment, her eyes wild. What did she have? Nothing. The TV was ancient. The furniture was falling apart. Then her eyes landed on the small, framed photo on her nightstand. It was her grandmother. And next to it, in a little velvet box, was the one thing of value she owned. Her grandmother's gold locket. It was the only thing her mother had left her. She had promised herself she would never, ever part with it. She looked at the locket, then at her brother. His eyes were closing again. His breathing was getting worse. It wasn't a choice. She grabbed the locket, shoved it in her pocket, and kissed Leo's damp forehead. I'll be right back, Leo. Don't move. I'll be right back. I promise. She ran out the door and didn't stop until she was at the pawn shop on the corner, the one with the sad, flashing red sign. She burst in, breathless, and threw the locket on the counter. How much? She panted. The owner, a man with greasy hair, picked it up, looked at it for a second, and tossed it back. It's old. Gold plate. $75. $1.75? Maya's heart sank. It's worth way more than that. It's an antique. Please, I need $150. My brother is sick. He needs medicine. Sad story. $75. That's my price. Take it or leave it. Maya looked at the locket, her grandmother's kind face flashing in her memory. She swallowed the sob in her throat. I'll take it. He counted out the money. She ran out of the shop. $75. It wasn't enough, but it was something. She ran to the pharmacy 3 blocks down. She skidded to a stop at the counter, holding out the money and the empty medicine bottle. I need this, please, she begged the pharmacist. I know it's $150, but I only have $75. Can you please just give me half the bottle? Just half? I'll get the rest tomorrow, I swear. The pharmacist, a tired-looking woman, gave her a sympathetic look. I'm so sorry, dear. It's a prescription. I can't split it, and I can't give you credit. It's policy. No. Please, you don't understand. Maya started to cry, the tears she'd been holding back finally winning. My little brother, he can't breathe. He's all alone. Please, isn't there anything you can do? I'm sorry, the woman said, shaking her head. I'll be fired. Maya slumped against the counter, her legs giving out. This was it, the final wall. She had failed. She had no job, no money, no home, and her brother was going to... She couldn't even think it. She was completely and totally broken. I'll pay for it. The voice was quiet, but it was deep and full authority. Maya looked up, wiping her tears. A man was standing beside her. He was tall, dressed in a black suit that looked even more expensive than Julian Thorne's. He wasn't handsome in the same sharp, dangerous way. He was older, maybe in his late 30s, with dark hair, a short, neat beard, and the kindest, saddest eyes Maya had ever seen. He smiled gently at the pharmacist. The full amount, please. Sir, I can't let you do that, Maya whispered, pulling herself up. I don't know you. And that's okay, the man said, not looking at her, his voice warm. He handed the pharmacist a black credit card. It's just money. The pharmacist quickly rang up the sale and handed the white paper bag to Maya. Maya clutched it to her chest like it was a life raft. She turned to the man, her mind spinning. Why? Who are you? How can I repay you? The man smiled, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. He reached into his suit jacket and pulled out a simple, heavy business card. It was black with no logo. It just had a name and a number embossed in silver. My name is Arthur, and I'm just helping a friend, he said. He tucked the card into her hand. My employer, he heard about what happened to you this morning. He believes you were treated unfairly. Maya stared at the card, then back at his face, confused. Your employer? Who is he? How did you know I was here? Arthur looked at her with a grave, serious expression. We've been looking for you, Ms. Rodriguez. My employer has a proposition for you. A way to get your life back. Who? Who is your employer? Maya asked again, her heart starting to pound for a whole new reason. Arthur looked over his shoulder, as if to make sure they were alone, before leaning in slightly. He's the man who hates Julian Thorne more than anyone else in the world. His older brother, Damien Thorne. Maya's hand, clutching the white paper bag of medicine, was slick with sweat. She stared at the man. Arthur. He was smiling, but his eyes were serious. Damien Thorne? His brother? The very same, Arthur said, his voice a low, calm rumble. He and Mr. Thorne, they don't see eye to eye. My employer believes in fairness. He saw what happened to you this morning. He has people everywhere, and he was very disturbed by it. Maya's head was spinning. All she could think about was the police report Julian had threatened, the image of Sarah's triumphant face, and the sound of Leo's coughing. How did you find me? You went to a pawn shop. You came here. It wasn't hard for us to follow. We know you're in trouble, Ms. Rodriguez. We know about the eviction. Arthur gently gestured to the door. My car is waiting. Mr. Damien Thorne would like to meet you. He believes you can help each other. I can't, Maya said, her voice shaking as she clutched the medicine. This was all too much. A billionaire's bed, a betrayal, a secret brother. It felt like a fever dream. I have to get this to my brother. He's sick. He's all that matters. Of course, Arthur said, his expression softening with what looked like real sympathy. I'm not a monster, Ms. Rodriguez. I'm a driver. Let me take you. It's the least we can do. Maya looked at him, then at the $150 medicine in her hand. This man, this stranger, had just saved Leo's life. She didn't trust him. She didn't trust anyone anymore. But she had no other choice. Okay, but I'm not going anywhere with you until my brother is safe. I wouldn't have it any other way. The car waiting outside wasn't a flashy sports car. It was a large, black, expensive-looking sedan with dark-tinted windows. It was the kind of car that disappears in a crowd. Arthur opened the back door for her. The inside was silent and smelled of clean leather. It was a world away from the rattling city bus. The ride to her apartment was silent. Maya just stared out the window, her heart pounding a different kind of rhythm. No longer just panic, but a strange, dark curiosity. When they pulled up to her crumbling apartment building, Arthur put the car in park. Take your time. I will be right here when you are ready. Maya nodded and jumped out, running into the building. She almost collided with her landlord, Mr. Saletti, who was taping a bright orange paper to her neighbor's door. He saw her and scowled. Saw you pull up in that fancy car. Find a rich boyfriend already? Doesn't matter. The clock is ticking, Maya. 23 hours. Maya ignored him, her key fumbling in the lock. She pushed the door open. Leo? I'm home. I have it. The small apartment was cold. Leo was on the couch, curled in a tight ball, his breathing shallow. Maya, he whispered. He looked so small, so pale. I'm here, she said, her voice breaking. She rushed to the kitchen, her hand shaking so badly she could barely open the child-proof cap. She poured the thick, red syrup into the small plastic cup and ran back to him. Here, Leo, sit up. You have to take this. She lifted his head, and he coughed, but he drank it all down. He leaned his head against her chest, and she held him tightly, rocking him back and forth, whispering, It's okay. I've got you. It's going to be okay. I promise. I'll never let anything happen to you. He looked up at her, his eyes still heavy with fever, but with a flicker of his old self. You're my superhero, Maya. She squeezed her eyes shut, the tears burning. I'm trying, baby. I'm trying so hard. She sat with him until his breathing started to get a little easier, the wheezing sound in his chest quieting down. He was falling into a real, healing sleep. She looked at the eviction notice on the table. She looked at her empty cabinets. She thought of Sarah's cold, mocking laugh. She thought of Julian Thorne's dead, gray eyes. A new feeling was growing in her chest, right next to the fear. It was anger, a cold, hard, clean anger. They had tried to break her. They had tried to take everything from her. They had hurt her brother. She kissed Leo on the forehead. She gently laid him back down on the pillows. She scribbled a note for her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Petrov, in the next apartment, asking her to listen for him, that she had a job interview and would be back in 2 hours. She grabbed her thin jacket, took one last look at her sleeping brother, and walked out of the apartment. She felt like a soldier walking into a war. She got back into the silent, waiting car. Arthur simply nodded and put the car in drive. Where are we going? She asked, her voice stronger now. To the other side of the city, Arthur said. To a much older, quieter part of town. They drove for 20 minutes, leaving the steel and glass towers of Midtown behind. They ended up in a beautiful, quiet neighborhood, with trees lining the streets and large, old brownstone houses. Arthur pulled up to one that was covered in ivy, its windows dark. It didn't look like a billionaire's house. It looked like a fortress. Arthur led her up the steps and used a heavy iron key to open the door. The inside was a complete opposite of Julian's penthouse. Julian's home was all glass and white, cold and empty. This house was warm, filled with dark wood, floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and soft, old carpets. A fire was crackling in a giant fireplace, and the room smelled of old books and firewood. A man was standing by the fire, his back to her. He was tall like Julian, but his build was broader. He turned around, and Maya's breath caught. It was like looking at a broken mirror of Julian Thorne. He had the same dark hair, but it was longer, messier. He had the same strong jaw, but he had a short, neat beard. And his eyes. Julian's eyes were cold, gray, and dead. This man's eyes were a deep dark blue, and they were blazing with a sad, intense energy. He looked like a king from an old story. Ms. Rodriguez. Maya, thank you for coming, he said. His voice was deeper than Julian's and warmer. I am Damien Thorne. Please sit. Can Arthur get you some tea? Something to eat? I'm fine, Maya said, though she was starving. She sat on the edge of a leather armchair. Sir, Mr. Thorne, I don't understand. Your man paid for my brother's medicine. He said you want to help me. Damien sat across from her, leaning forward, his hands clasped. He didn't look like a man who owned anything. He looked like a man who had lost everything. I did pay for it, and I am horrified by what happened to you. My brother, Julian, he is not a good man. He is a broken man, and he breaks everything he touches. Damien's eyes drifted to fire. Years ago, our father left his company to me. I built it. I cared for the employees. Julian was wild, reckless. When our father died, Julian used a technicality, a loophole, to steal the entire company from me. He took my office. He took my money. He took my life. He left me with nothing but this house. Maya listened, her heart aching with familiar pain. The pain of being cheated by someone you thought you knew. He's a ghost, Damien continued, his voice growing harder. He hides in that glass tower of his, and he pulls strings. He destroys lives for profit, and he uses people. Which brings me to Sarah. Maya's hands clenched into fists at the sound of her name. You know about her? I know everything about her, Damien said. Sarah Johnson. She was a corporate spy I had planted in a rival company. She was smart, ruthless. She was my asset. And just like he stole my company, Julian stole her from me, too. He offered her more money, more power. For the last 6 months, she hasn't just been his girlfriend. She's been his weapon. She's been feeding him information, helping him ruin a dozen different people. And this morning, she used you. She used you to get rid of a good, honest man like Mr. Harrison, so Julian could put her person in charge of hotel operations. You were just a pawn, collateral damage. It was all too much. Maya felt sick. All this time, she had been a part of a game she didn't even know was being played. Why? Maya whispered, Why are you telling me this? Because my brother's about to close the biggest deal of his life, Damien said, standing up and pacing the room. A merger with a massive Japanese tech firm. It's worth billions. It will make him untouchable. I have to stop him. The deal is built on lies, on information he and Sarah have stolen. I need proof. Proof that she is feeding him confidential data. I can't help you, Maya said, standing up. I'm a cleaner. I just want to take care of my brother. I don't want any more trouble. I know you don't, Damien said, his voice kind again. He walked over to his massive wooden desk. But I also know that you're about to be evicted, that you have no job and no money, and that you are a good, decent person who's wronged. He turned around. In his hand, he held a set of keys. There's a new apartment, 2 blocks from here, in a safe, clean building. It has 2 bedrooms. It's fully furnished. The first year's rent is paid. It's in your name. He gestured to Arthur, who quietly placed a thin file on the coffee table in front of her. Maya opened it. It was a bank book. Inside, it showed a balance. $50,000. And that, Damien said, is a check for the best children's lung specialist in New York. He is waiting for your call. He can see Leo tomorrow. Maya sank back into the chair, her legs giving out. This was a dream. This was impossible. This was a lifeline, a new life, a future for Leo. She looked up at him, her eyes full of tears. What do I have to do? Damien's kind expression hardened, just a little. The warmth in his eyes was replaced by a cold fire. Julian is flying to Tokyo tonight for 48 hours to sign the final papers. The deal is done, unless proof of his fraud surfaces before the press conference. But Sarah's staying behind, Damien continued, his voice a low whisper. She's arrogant. She's sloppy. She thinks she's won. I know she keeps a record of everything she's done. A little black book, A hard drive, some kind of insurance, in case Julian ever turns on her. I need it. It's hidden somewhere in that penthouse. And you, Maya, you were going to get it from me. Maya's blood ran cold. Go back? Go back there? They'll arrest me. Sarah hates me. She'll never let me in. She will, Damien said, a cold, thin smile on his face. Because you're not going as an enemy. You're going as a beggar. He leaned in, his voice intense. You're going to call her. You're going to cry. You're going to tell her that you're about to be arrested, that your brother is dying, and that you'll do anything if she just asks Julian to call off the police. You'll tell her you'll be her maid, her servant, that you'll scrub her floors with a toothbrush. She's cruel and she's arrogant. She won't be able to resist watching you grovel. She'll let you in just to laugh at you, and when you're in, you find me my proof. This was a nightmare. Go back to that place. Pretend to be nice to the woman who had ruined her life. It felt dirty. It felt wrong. I can't, Maya whispered, shaking her head. I'm not a good liar. She'll know. I can't. You can, Damien said. His voice was no longer kind. It was as cold and hard as Julian's. And you will, because you don't have a choice. Arthur stepped forward and placed one more piece of paper on the table. It was a copy of a police report. Case number 9021. Julian Thorne versus Maya Rodriguez. Charges: criminal trespass, intent to commit larceny. It had been filed 1 hour ago. Mr. Thorne isn't just threatening you, Maya, Damien said, his voice flat. He's actively pressing charges. My lawyers have made one call, putting a temporary hold on the warrant. They're the only thing standing between you and a jail cell, the only thing keeping child services from taking Leo away. Maya stared at the paper. The words swam before her eyes. Jail cell, taking Leo away. You helped me, Damien said, and this all disappears. The charges are dropped. The apartment is yours. Leo is safe. You refuse, and Arthur will drive you home. And you can wait for the police to knock on your door. Maya looked at the keys. She looked at the bank book. She looked at the police report. She was trapped. She was a mouse. And the cats were just deciding who got to play with her. She thought of Leo, and her choice was gone. She picked up the keys, her hands shaking. Okay, she whispered, her voice hoarse. I'll do it. Tell me what I need to do. Chapter 4. Maya's hand was shaking so badly, she almost dropped the phone. She was back in Damien Thorne's library. The fire was roaring, but she was freezing cold. Damien and Arthur watched her, their faces impossible to read. This was it, the point of no return. She was a mouse walking into a trap, hoping to steal the cheese from a bigger mouse, all while 2 cats watched. Call her, Damien said, his voice quiet but heavy. Remember, you are broken. You are pathetic. You have nothing left. She will want to see that. She will need to see it. Maya took a deep breath, thinking of Leo's small, pale face. She thought of the eviction notice and the cold steel of a jail cell. The anger returned, pushing the fear down. She could do this. She wasn't just a cleaner. She was a survivor. She dialed the private number Arthur had given her. It rang once, twice. Hello. Sarah's voice was sharp, annoyed. She didn't recognize the number. Sarah? Maya let her voice crack. She let the real tears, the real fear, well up in her voice. Sarah, please, it's me. It's Maya. There was a long, cold silence on the other end. Maya could almost hear her smiling. Well, Maya Rodriguez. I am shocked you have the guts to call me. Did you forget? You're fired. You're trespassing. I could have you arrested right now. I know, I'm sorry. Maya sobbed, hunching over as if she were really begging. Please, Sarah, you have to help me. Mr. Thorne, he filed a police report. They're going to arrest me. They're going to take Leo away. He's all I have. He's so sick, Sarah. Please, you're the only one who can help me. Help you? Sarah laughed. It was the same cruel, ugly laugh in the penthouse. Why in the world would I help you? I'll do anything. Maya cried, the words tasting like ash in her mouth. I'll work for you. For free. I'll be your personal maid. I'll scrub your floors. I'll do your laundry. I'll clean your shoes with a toothbrush. I don't care. I just need you to ask Mr. Thorne to call off the police. Please, Sarah. You were my friend. There was another long pause. Maya held her breath. Damien nodded at her, urging her on. You my personal maid? Sarah said, her voice dripping with amusement. She loved it. She loved the power. You, begging me to scrub my floors? She let out a long, satisfied sigh. You know, I am a little bored, and Mr. Thorne is in Tokyo for the next 2 days. It would be fun to have someone to order around. Fine, I'll think about it.
You know why you're here,
I want to see you beg
Don't
in
pretend
person.
otherwise.
I'm at the penthouse. Be here in 1 hour. And Maya, wear your old uniform. I want to see you in it on your knees. The line went dead. Maya hung up the phone, her body shaking with a mix of relief and disgust. Excellent, Damien said, his dark eyes glowing. Arthur will take you. He has what you need. Arthur drove her, not to her old apartment, but to the new one, the one Damien had promised. It was in a clean, safe building with a doorman. When Arthur opened the door, Maya gasped. It was beautiful. It was warm, with soft carpets, a real kitchen, and 2 bedrooms. In one of them, Leo was fast asleep in a clean, warm bed. Her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Petrov, was sitting in a chair, reading a book. We brought them here while you were with Mr. Thorne, Arthur said. Leo has been seen by the doctor. His new medicine is on a nightstand. He is safe. Maya walked over and kissed her sleeping brother. This was real. This apartment, this safety, it was all real. And it all depended on what she did next. It's time, Arthur said. He handed her the old beige uniform. It was clean and pressed. He then fitted a tiny, almost invisible earpiece into her ear. Mr. Thorne can hear everything. And this, he replaced one of the buttons on her uniform with a tiny, identical-looking camera. He can see everything. Find the office. We believe it's hidden in the master bedroom. Get the proof, and you never have to worry about anything ever again. Maya put on the uniform. It felt like a costume, a suit of armor for a war she never wanted to fight. Let's go. She walked through the lobby of the Aura Grand, her head held high. The staff whispered and stared. They saw a girl who'd been fired in disgrace. They had no idea she was walking to the biggest fight of her life. The private elevator doors opened. Sarah was waiting. She was lounging on a white sofa, wearing a red silk robe, a glass of champagne in her hand. The penthouse was filled with music. Well, look at you, Sarah said, her eyes glittering with malice. It suits you. Pathetic. Now come here, on your knees. Maya's jaw tightened. She heard Damien's voice in her ear, a soft whisper. Do it, Maya. Be the mouse. Maya thought of Leo. She slowly, agonizingly, sank to her knees on the thick white carpet. Please, Sarah. That's better. Sarah smiled, taking a sip of her champagne. Now I've had a long day. My feet hurt. She kicked her fluffy slippers off and put her feet on a stool, rubbed them. Maya stared, her stomach turning. She wanted to scream. She wanted to run. Do it, Damien whispered. Maya crawled forward and, with shaking hands, she began to rub Sarah's feet. She felt like she was going to be sick. You really are pathetic, aren't you? Sarah taunted. All that hard work and being a good person. Look where it got you. On the floor where you belong. You know, Julian has given me the entire Tokyo branch to run. While you're scrubbing my toilets, I'll be a vice president. She kicked her feet away. Ugh, that's enough. Your hands are all sweaty. Go clean the guest bathroom. The floor is marble, and I think I saw a scuff mark. Use this. She reached into a drawer and pulled out a brand new toothbrush, tossing at Maya's feet. And don't miss a spot. For the next 2 hours, Maya cleaned. She scrubbed floors. She polished fixtures. She acted broken, sniffling and crying every time Sarah looked at her. Sarah loved it. She followed her around, mocking her, telling her stories of her new life, all while Maya quietly looked for the office. It's in the bedroom, Maya. Damien's voice urged. You have to get her out of there. Sarah was now in the master bedroom, lying on the giant bed, taking a video call. Yes, Mr. Takanoa, the deal is set. Julian will be signing in the morning. I handled all the loose ends. Yes, it's all secure. Maya was cleaning the windows, the same windows from that first fateful morning. She had an idea. A terrible, brilliant idea. She had a small bucket of cleaning solution. With her back to Sarah, she tripped. The bucket flew, and the soapy, gray water splashed all over the foot of Sarah's perfect, white silk comforter. There was a second of perfect silence. You idiot! Sarah shrieked, jumping off the bed. You stupid, clumsy. This is Egyptian silk. It's ruined. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Maya cried, rushing to dab at it with a cloth, making it worse. I'll fix it. I can fix it. We have a special stain remover in the main housekeeping supply closet, the one down the hall. But my key is gone. Please, Sarah, you have to get it or the stain will set. Useless. You are completely useless. Sarah screamed, her face red with rage. Don't move. Don't touch anything. I'll get it myself. And when I get back, you're going to pay for this. Sarah stormed out of the bedroom, slamming the door. Now, Maya. Now! Damien yelled in her ear. The bookshelf, to the left of the fireplace. The third book from the top, The Art of War. Push it. Maya ran to the bookshelf. Her heart was a drum. She found the book. She pushed. It clicked. A section of the bookshelf swung open, revealing a small, dark office. It was cold, and it smelled like Julian. The desk. Look in the desk. Maya ran to the desk. She pulled open the first drawer. Papers. The second. A checkbook. The third. It was locked. It's locked, she whispered, panicked. Break it. Use the letter opener. Maya grabbed a heavy brass letter opener from the desk and jammed it into the lock. She pushed. The wood splintered. The drawer flew open. Inside, there wasn't a book. There was a small black external hard drive. I have it, she whispered, grabbing it. Good. Now get out. Get out of there. My car is waiting. She was about to run when the main bedroom door opened. Maya froze. Her blood turned to ice. It wasn't Sarah. It was Julian Thorne. He stood in the doorway of his secret office, wearing a perfect black suit, his gray eyes unblinking. He wasn't supposed to be in Tokyo. I was wondering, Julian said, his voice a soft, cold blade, when my brother would finally stop sending mice and come himself. But no, he just sent another mouse. He didn't look angry. He looked amused. Maya, get out. Run. Damien was screaming in her ear, but she couldn't move. Hello, Damien, Julian said, looking right at the camera button on her uniform. Tired of living in the dark? Darling, you're back. Sarah's voice came from the bedroom. She walked in and froze, seeing Julian, seeing Maya in the secret office, holding the hard drive. Julian, I don't know how she's a spy. She's working for your brother. Julian Thorne didn't even look at Sarah. He just looked at Maya. Give me the drive. Maya looked at the small piece of plastic in her hand. This held her entire life. It held the proof to ruin Julian. It held the proof to ruin Sarah. It was Damien's prize. No, Maya whispered. Julian raised an eyebrow. No, Maya said louder. She was done being a mouse. She was done being a pawn. She looked at Julian, then at Sarah. You too. You ruin people. You play with their lives like it's a game. You did this to me. Sarah, you were my friend. You watched me cry about my brother, and you lied. You, Mr. Thorne, you tried to send me to jail for being tired. Give it to me, Maya, Sarah hissed, taking a step forward, or I will throw you out that window myself. This is what you both want, isn't it? Maya said, holding the drive up, proof of all your crimes. His and yours. Don't you dare, Maya. Damien shouted, Give it to me. That's our deal. Maya looked at all of them. The monster in her ear. The monster who betrayed her. The monster who tried to crush her. I'm done with your game, she said. She walked past the stunned Julian Thorne, out of the office, and straight to the giant wall of windows. She slid one of the heavy glass panels open. The sound of the city, 50 stories below, flooded the room. "Don't," Julian said, his voice finally losing its calm. He knew what she was going to do. "No!" Sarah screamed, lunging for her. But she was too late. Maya opened her hand. The hard drive hung in the air for just a second, a tiny black square against the sunset. And then it was gone. It fell, tumbling end over end into the vast, uncaring city. The proof, the lies, the betrayal, all of it gone forever. The room was silent. Sarah was sobbing, a horrible, broken sound. "You fool! You ruined everything." Damien was screaming, a tinny, furious sound from the earpiece. Maya reached into her ear, pulled the earpiece out, and dropped it onto the floor. She had never felt so quiet. She had never felt so free. She turned to face Julian Thorne. He was staring at her, not with anger, but with a strange, shocked, and almost respectful expression. "It's over," Maya said, her voice shaking but strong. "There's no proof for him. There's no proof for you. It's gone. You can't hurt me anymore. And he can't use me. I just want to go home. I just want to be left alone." Julian Thorne looked at her for a long, long time. Then he looked at the weeping, pathetic form of Sarah on the floor. He pressed a button on his desk phone. "Security. To the penthouse. Escort Miss Johnson off the premises. She is no longer welcome here." "Julian." "No, you can't." Sarah shrieked, but the guards were already there, pulling her up. "You're a liability, Sarah," Julian said, his voice flat. "And you're boring. Get out." The doors closed, and Sarah was gone. It was just Maya and the most powerful man in the city. "You destroyed the one thing that could have saved you," he said. "It wouldn't have saved me," Maya said. "It would have just made me a slave. I'm done being a slave to anyone. My brother is safe. That's all that matters." Julian walked to his desk. He took out his checkbook and a pen. He wrote, his motions fast and sharp. He tore the check out and held it out to her. "For your trouble," he said, "and for the collateral damage." Maya looked at the check. The number of zeros made her head spin. It was millions. It was a new life. It was a trap. She looked at him, and she pushed the check back. "No, thank you, Mr. Thorne. I don't want your money. I just want you to do what's right. I want the police report dropped. And I want Mr. Harrison to have his job back. He was a good man. He was just scared." Julian stared at her, then at the check. He slowly tore it in half. "Done. The charges are gone. Mr. Harrison will be reinstated, with a raise for his trouble. Now get out of my home, Ms. Rodriguez." "Thank you," Maya said. She walked to the private elevator, her back straight. She didn't look back. The gold doors closed. She walked out of the Aura Grand Hotel for the last time. The sun was setting and the city was gold. Arthur's black car was waiting. He got out, his face unreadable. "Mr. Thorne is furious," he said. "You destroyed his life's work." "I don't work for him," Maya said, her voice tired. She expected him to yell. She expected him to demand something. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a simple set of keys. He handed them to her. "What's this?" she asked. "Mr. Damien Thorne is a lot of things," Arthur said, "but he is not a liar. He promised you an apartment, a doctor, and a new life in exchange for your help. You went in. You faced them both. You did your part. He keeps his word. The apartment is yours. The money is in the account. The doctor has been paid. You are free, Ms. Rodriguez. He will never contact you again." Arthur got back in his car and, without another word, drove off, disappearing into the traffic. Maya stood alone on the sidewalk, the keys heavy in her hand. She was still wearing the dirty beige uniform. She looked up at the glass tower, a prison she had finally escaped. Then she turned her back on it and started walking, not to her old, broken-down building, but to her new, safe, warm home. She wasn't rich. She wasn't a spy. She wasn't a victim. She was just Maya, and for the first time in her life, she was free.